From New York.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I thank each of you for what you're doing to protect our country. All the testimony we heard today was about reevaluating and improving our screening process with the visa applicants. I'm concerned with another significant gap in our security, and maybe we could talk about that a little bit. It's been publicly reported that there's probably hundreds of thousands of stolen Syrian passports, some of which are actually blank. And it's suspected that these documents are in the hands now of the Islamic State. We've heard about our counterparts in the European countries saying that there's a real industry in selling these false documents or stolen documents. And at least two of the attackers in Paris apparently had false Syrian passports, and they entered the EU through Greece with them. This proliferation of genuine documents used maliciously by groups like ISIS present a real challenge for our screening process. I was just wondering, is the information that's being reported confirmed? Is that the information that you're dealing with as well? Because we're getting reports from the press about it. And if it is, what are each of your agencies doing to deal or combat or address that issue?
Sir, I'd ask Mr. Kubiak to address that. I think the specifics are probably handled in a closed setting as opposed to this venue. We are concerned about any false documents that could be used to move anywhere in the world, but we have systems that we're working with from an international perspective to address that particular issue you outlined and more fully. But I'd like to do that in a closed session.
Yeah, if I may just jump in before Mr. Kubiak. We are aware of the issue that you're describing. I wouldn't say much more in this setting. But what I do want to say is that is a critical and well-developed component of our screening, and that as situations arise, we take specific steps with respect to those situations like the one you just described. And that's all, again, I would say in an open setting. But I essentially want to communicate we're on it, and we can talk about it in greater depth in a different environment.
Thank you for your question. Fraudulent documents are a critical part of the ICE investigative mandate as we look at all illicit travel and illicit finance that funds illicit travel as it occurs around the globe. ICE has and has had for a number of years one of the world's most renowned forensic laboratories, which specializes specifically and is located not far from here if anyone would like to take a tour or get a view of it. It has immense capabilities that are supplied to the United States government, to CBP, to our State Department colleagues, to CIS, and to others on evaluating false documents, recording lost and stolen documents like the ones that you're referencing, and promulgates that and shares that information, legitimate travel documents, with other countries so that we're able to up our defenses and know what the current entry documents are and how the fraudulent documents, either fake or stolen real, are used in this network to supply criminals and terrorists, potentially, travel networks and travel capability. Happy to give you, because it's such a big part of what we do, happy to give you a much more significant briefing in a classified setting if we can.
Secretary Kubiak, you just mentioned how we share that information with our allies. Are our allies, the European Union, are they sharing their information with us as well?
Yeah, so it's a broad question because types of information, and again, we could get into that in a different setting. But yes, on passport requirements, we're getting information quite regularly from foreign governments that says this bank of passports are stolen, or this is a compromise, or this is a false document that we have identified and utilized, and here's information that we have about others that may be similar, and we're sharing that back and forth around the globe. Some countries more so than others, obviously, and some more robustly than others, but yes, and again, we can include that in a briefing for you as well.
Ms. Bond, I didn't want to leave you out if there was anything you needed to add.
No, only to add that we do work very closely on this and also participate in reporting any lost or stolen U.S. passport, for example. Once that's reported to us, we make sure that it's immediately registered with Interpol so that it's available to other nations. and of course, across the interagency.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.